Hello and welcome to Idea TV News Update. I am Chinatu Oji. Let's begin with the headlines. Academy of Education calls on FG to reinstate mother tongue instruction. Nigeria launches 2025 to 2030 state strategy to boost farm productivity. Senegal and ITU partner to boost women in digital economy. Zimbabwe set to raise gold royalties as prices hit record levels. Away from Africa, France intercepts small boats in the Channel after UK pressure. In business, Dangote to triple Nigeria's fertilizer output launches $2.5 billion Ethiopian plant in health. 1.3 million Nigerians screened for HIV in 2025. And sports, CAF appoints 73 officials for AFCON 2025 in Morocco. The news info. The Nigerian Academy of Education has strongly criticized the federal government's decision to scrap the national language policy, urging Education Minister Marufa Lausa to restore mother tongue instruction at foundational levels. In a position paper released earlier today, the Academy argued that early education in indigenous languages improves learning outcomes, strengthens cultural identity, and fosters inclusive national development. It described the policy reversal as a grave disservice to Nigeria's educational progress, warning that discontinuing mother tongue teaching risks permanent recolonization and undermines the nation's future. The Academy cited research, including the historic IFES 6-year project and recent bilingual education studies showing that pupils first taught in their native languages perform better academically, even in English, than those introduced prematurely to foreign language instruction. It dismissed claims linking mother tongue teaching to poor examination performance and urged the government to complement reinstatement with improved teacher training, learning materials, stakeholder engagement, and evidence-based reviews. Beyond language policy, the Academy also sounded the alarm over rising school attacks and abductions, reported at least 92 schools invasions, 2,500 abductions, over 180 children killed, and more than 1 million children living in fear. The Academy also called for urgent government intervention, including full protection for learners and staff, stricter punishment for perpetrators, trauma care, and compensation for victims' families, stressing that the nation's educational system and its future hangs in the balance. Moving on, Nigeria has launched a new state sector strategy and investment plan for 2025 to 2030, unveiled on November 27 at the Seed Connect Africa Conference in Abuja by the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security and the National Agricultural Seed Council (NSSC) with support from AGRA. The roadmap outlines a 2.48 billion naira investment aimed at modernizing the country's seed system by improving varietal development, strengthening access to certified planting materials. The initiative comes as the country faces rising food demand, low adoption of improved seeds, and significant production shortfalls. Current data shows that only 11% of maize farmers and 3% of cowpea producers use improved varieties, contributing to persistent deficits in key crops such as maize, rice, sorghum, soy, yam, with peanuts and cowpea. Officials from AGRA and the ministry said the new plan is expected to increase certified seed usage, will restore in this agricultural sector and strengthening national food security for a population of over 230 million. Implementation of the strategy will focus on regulatory reforms, expansion of commercial seed production. The country has been battling severe weather, training, extension services, and better coordination among public and private actors. Authorities noted that effective federal and state-level execution, along with improved distribution networks in rural areas, will be crucial to closing productivity gaps, reducing food imports, and building a more reliant or resilient agricultural economy. Meanwhile, Senegal has signed a cooperation agreement with the International Telecommunication Union (ITU) aimed at increasing the participation of young women in the country's digital economy. The partnership announced by Senegal Telecommunications and Postal Regulatory Authority (ARTP) was formalized on the sidelines of the World Telecommunication Development Conference WTDC 2025 in Bangkok. Under the agreement, the initiative will focus on skills development, support for digital business ecosystems, and the creation of tools to empower young women in digital trade. While operational details are yet to be finalized, ARTP says the project aligns with Senegal's broader new technological deal, which seeks to position the country as a leading regional and international digital hub by 2034. President Diomaye Faye emphasized that the project aims to strengthen human capital, support entrepreneurship, and foster the growth of innovative SMEs and startups. By tackling persistent barriers faced by women in sub-Saharan Africa, including limited connectivity, unequal access to financing, skill gaps, and underrepresentation in leadership, the initiative seeks to boost economic competitiveness, promote social inclusion, and provide meaningful professional opportunities for women in Senegal. Meanwhile, Zimbabwe plans to introduce a new 10% royalty on gold producers starting January 1, 2026, should international prices reach or exceed $2,501 an ounce. The announcement was made by Finance Minister Tuli Nkube during the presentation of the 2026 national budget, reflecting the government's intent to capitalize on soaring gold prices. The move follows similar fiscal adjustment recently implemented in Mali and Burkina Faso aimed at increasing government revenues from the previous metal. The new royalty would build on Zimbabwe's 2022 revision, which set a sliding scale from 3% to 5% based on gold prices. With gold trading at over $4,100 an ounce in late November, the adjustment could significantly boost government earnings. And Kube emphasized that the measure seeks to balance the benefits of record high prices with sustaining investment and ensuring the sector's long-term viability. Analysts note that rising royalties increase operational costs for miners, echoing challenges faced in Mali and Burkina Faso, where companies reported higher all-in sustaining costs due to fiscal changes. Zimbabwe's gold sector, dominated by artisanal production, but also home to firms like Caledonia Mining, will be closely watching parliamentary approval of the measure as it could reshape profitability amid continued bullish gold markets. Let's take this break now. The news continues on the other side.
Facebook wasn't the first thing I built. I also built chat systems and games, study tools and music players, and I'm not alone. J.K. Rowling got rejected 12 times before she finally wrote and published Harry Potter. I don't know how to build a dam. I don't know how to get 1 million people involved in anything. Well, let me tell you a secret. No one does when they begin. Ideas don't come out fully formed. They only become clear as you work on them. You just have to get started.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is still Idea TV News Updates, the rest of the stories. Away from Africa, France has agreed to start intercepting small boats attempting to cross the English Channel, following months of pressure from the United Kingdom. The move comes after Prime Minister Keir Starmer wrote to President Emmanuel Macron, warning that current measures provide no effective deterrence to the crossings. French maritime police will now be allowed to intervene at sea, but only boats pick up passengers from northern French beaches. Officials say the aim is to safeguard human life, and methods such as nets to stop boats will not be used. Previously, French forces rarely intervened due to the perceived risks to officers and civilians, strong winds, and adaptive tactics by people. Smuggling gangs, expected to complicate early operations. UK authorities welcome the development, highlighting ongoing collaboration with French partners to address illegal migration. The new policy marks a significant step in joint efforts to manage channel crossings, although precise methods for intercepting the small boats remain unclear. In health, the Heartland Alliance Ltd GTEL HALG says it will provide HIV testing services to 1.3 million people in 2025, marking a major step in Nigeria's HIV response. The organization's Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Bartholomew Ochoye, disclosed this yesterday in Abuja during a press briefing ahead of World AIDS Day on December 1st. Represented by Ms. Winfred Ado Gompiol, he described the achievement as a significant milestone reflecting HALG's commitment to transforming HIV prevention, testing, and treatment across the country. Ochoye highlighted several accomplishments recorded in 2025, including the certification of 17 HALG-supported sites as community clinics. 1,303 people, 184 people were reached with testing services, 88,055 individuals on treatment and more than 1.6 million people reached with prevention interventions. He noted that the organization also supported 22,618 survivors of gender-based violence and deployed drone technology to deliver antiretroviral drugs to 8 facilities and communities. According to him, these achievements represent real lives impacted mothers who remain in care due to state HIV negative and families that regain hope, especially in a year marked by shrinking donor funding, economic instability, and competing health priorities. The Alliance, active across more than 19 states and the FCT, said its community-led approach and partnerships have helped expand access to HIV services in hard-to-reach areas. Ochoa added that this year's World AIDS Day theme, Overcoming Disruption, Transforming the AIDS Response, aligns with ongoing efforts to address the intertwined challenges of HIV and gender-based violence. He reaffirmed HALG's commitment to sustaining progress through initiatives such as the Elton John AIDS Foundation Youth Program and VIIV Healthcare's Positive Action Project. In business now, the Dangote Group has announced plan to triple urea production in Nigeria from 3 million to 9 million metric tons annually, while simultaneously breaking ground on a $2.5 billion fertilizer plant in Dangote, Ethiopia. The expansions aim to boost agricultural productivity, strengthen food security, and position Africa as a significant player in the global fertilizer market. The Nigerian facility will add 4 new production trains to the existing 2-train complex in Lagos, while the Ethiopian plant is expected to produce an additional 3 million tons of urea yearly. To deliver the projects, Dangote has partnered with 4 leading global engineering and technology firms, including Denmark's Topsoe and Ammonia Technology, Italy's Saipem for urea processing, Germany's ThyssenKrupp for granulation, and India's Engineers India Limited as project management consultants. These partnerships are designed to ensure world-class standards in both production efficiency and environmental sustainability. The expansions come amid growing demand for fertilizer across Africa, where less than 20% of crop requirements are currently met due to production shortfalls, high costs, and supply chain challenges. With the enlarged Nigerian facility and the new Ethiopian plant, Dangote aims to reduce import dependence, support regional agricultural value chains, create jobs, and strengthen Africa's resilience to global price shocks and supply disruptions. Finally, in sport, the Confederation of African Football has named 73 match officials to oversee the Total Energies Africa Cup of Nations set to run in Morocco from December 21, 2025 to January 18, 2026. The selection includes 28 referees, 31 assistant referees, and 14 VAR officials representing all regions of the continent. Notably, no Nigerian referee made the list for this edition of Africa's premier football competition. CAF said the appointed officials are among the most experienced on the continent, having officiated in multiple CAF competitions in recent times. They're scheduled to arrive in Morocco on December 15 for an intensive preparatory course. The training, led by CAF's referees department, will cover physical, technical, and theoretical assessment to ensure peak performance throughout the tournament. The appointment reflects CAF's ongoing commitment to refereeing excellence and competition integrity, as well as its broad efforts to raise technical standards across African football. Officials' performance in Morocco will be closely monitored as part of these continued enhancement. And that's the most we can take on this edition of News Updates. But before we go, a recap of the headlines. Academy of Education calls on FG to reinstate mother tongue instruction. Nigeria launches 2025 to 2030 seed strategy to boost farm productivity. Senegal and ITU partner to boost women in the digital economy. And Zimbabwe set to raise gold royalties as prices hit record levels. Away from Africa, France to intercept small boats in the Channel after UK pressure. In business, Dangote to triple Nigeria's fertilizer output launches $2.5 billion Ethiopian plant. In health, 1.3 million Nigerians screened for HIV in 2025. And in sports, CAF appoints 73 officials for AFCON 2025 in Morocco. Do not forget to follow us across the different social media platforms at Idea TV. I am Chinatu Oji. Thanks for your time.